Wow, this video is something that I've been thinking about putting together for a very long time. I looked at all of my videos, 10, 12, 15-minute videos on YouTube, and I said, what is it that's missing? What is it that you guys need from me? And honestly, it's a full, complete picture, a roadmap of exactly what it takes to build your online coaching business to consistent 10K months. Is it possible? I've proven it over and over and over again with our clients, but I want to give you the full roadmap. Now, this video might be an hour, it might be 2 hours, I don't know, but we're going to cover everything from branding to service delivery and sales and everything in between. So let's dive in. Now, you might be thinking right now, he's going to get straight into sales. He's going to get straight into client acquisition. But I promise you one thing. I've been in the fitness industry for 25 years. I have built 2 gyms. I built my own personal brand as one of the UK's leading physique coaches. I then went on to build an education program teaching the science and theory of coaching, yet another brand. And then from there, I built my own online coaching business. And then from there, I then put all of my knowledge together and built a business mentoring brand. Now, I've gone through multiple stages of brand building, and so it doesn't fit with me that I jump straight into how to do sales, how to get leads. It really starts off with what is the brand you're building? This is one of the biggest mistakes in the fitness industry right now. You look at Instagram, there is a whole world of sameness. What is it that's ultimately going to separate you from everybody else? That is where we must start. I look at coaches' content. I look at what they're putting out, what they're saying. There's no thought, and there's no thought because you've got no lens. I start off with every single coach, whether it's a coach scaling or whether it's a coach building from the ground up, with the first area, and that is called your offer. Now, your offer is who you help, then how you help people, then why you're different, and then how you deliver your program. Let me explain. So we're going to spend time going through writing things out, drawing things out, really explaining this to you. You need a container, and this is your offer. Every coaching brand has an offer, and I'm sorry to say this, it's not online coaching. It's not online coaching. If you think it's online coaching and you're telling people through your content, I do online coaching, it's not going to work. Your offer is who you help. This is your statement. This is, I help this type of person achieve this result without complex diets. So I help postnatal women get back in shape without following low-calorie diets. It's a very simple statement that explains who you help, okay? Now, then there is the how. Now, this how statement is massively important. How we deliver what we deliver is helping coaches build an authority coaching brand that positions you differently to everybody else. Look, 2026, that's where we are today. There's coaches online everywhere. They're all saying they're online coaches. You need a very specific intellectual property, and this means you need a system. How do you get people from A to B? Well, I give them a diet plan, I give them a nutrition plan, so does everybody else. So your offer, within your content, within your stories and within your posts, it needs to be very evident of why you're different. Like how? Authority brand content system. It might be the name of your program. Now, who you help, how you help, and then why. Why are you different? I'm different because I've been in the industry 25 years. I'm different because I built 4 to 5 different brands. I'm different because I help coaches actually also become great coaches and have great brands. I don't just help coaches just make money. So when we look at why are you different, coaches do this, I do this. You need to know your point of difference. Why are you different? If you say, I don't know, then you need to start doing some investigation. I was speaking to somebody recently who is a sports scientist and a physiotherapist, and just references themselves as an online coach. I said, well, you're different because you're a physiotherapist. You know the body inside out. I don't see that in your content. Oh, what about your journey through life? Oh, I haven't really included any of that. So I don't know why you're different. I'm a dad. I'm 48. I've got a beautiful son. I live in Dubai. I've been able to build my gyms, build my life, build my finances, change my life. People look at that and they're like, I love the way that he's doing what he's doing. Why am I different? Why are you different? Now you might be looking at this and going, I haven't really given this much thought. Well, therefore you don't have an offer. You just don't have anything that makes you any different. And then here, this is called your delivery. Okay, this is your delivery. Now this, when it comes to your delivery, is how you actually get the result. And this is the stuff you know very well. It's the check-in, it's the community, it's the coaching, the replies, the educational system. How do you do the delivery, right? This whole offer stack, I almost guarantee if you're scaling your business right now, let's say you're doing over 10K, maybe you couldn't sit down with me and have a 10-minute conversation and break all this down. If you simply had that, there is one word in here that I'm gonna write down for you, right? And if you want to make money in this industry, you need clarity. You need to be able to come on your page and actually say to people, this is who I am, this is how I do what I do, this is why I'm different, and this is how I deliver the outcome. If you want to separate yourself from 2020, everybody else in 2026, you have to have an offer. Now, the funny thing is, this part of the video is going to be quite long. And it's long for a very good reason. Because if you can't explain this, if you can't go through this, and it's why we spend so much time with our clients, no one else on social media is going to understand you, which means you're going to blend in with the whole world of sameness. So the journey to 10K, it starts with having a crystal clear offer that you're aligned with, that other people can attach themselves with, and that is phase one of the journey. Now, the second phase is where we validate the offer. Now, the first section I talked about, building your offer, this was relevant to anybody that's scaling or building. I will not start with anybody unless they can actually explain their offer clearly to me. But now we're going to get into the layers of, let's say, revenue layers. It's important to put these layers in as we go through this video. The 0 to 3K, 0 to 2 to 3K. This phase is a really important part of the journey when you're building your online business. You've got to take your offer, this who you help, how you help, why you're different, and the delivery of your program. And we need to validate this. We need to prove that people want to buy what it is that you put together. We need to prove that you're confident enough to actually sell this. So if I design this pen, got a nice pink tip, yellow tips, it's called a flip. If I spent a lot of time designing this, I don't want to go and spend a lot of my time marketing it to millions of people if it doesn't actually sell. So the first thing you've got to do to be able to start bringing revenue into your business, and this is important. When we work with coaches, there's a few things that matter. Your confidence matters. You can't sell if you're not confident. What helps with your confidence? Momentum. What else helps with momentum? For a lot of coaches between the 0 to 2K, confidence is pretty low. Maybe you're starting your online coaching business. Maybe you have bypassed the route of becoming a personal trainer. And maybe finances are a bit of a struggle. And I speak to a lot of coaches. This kind of 0 to 2K bracket is a financial kind of constraint. Unless you've got a full busy PT diary, you want some money in the bank. And look, there's very few coaches that I've come across that would not say, I would like some momentum and I'd like my confidence to be up. So we have to get to a certain stage between 0 to 2K where we bring some clients on board. So validating your offer is key. But if I tell you to go out to a market of people that have absolutely no idea who you are, do you think you're going to be able to sell this? Possibly with low self-confidence, possibly with not a lot of knowledge around your offer, and maybe you haven't got a lot of results under your belt right now between 0 to 2K. So what we have to do is validate. Now, to validate your offer, we're going to go out to a group of people called your friends and family. And past and present client connections. This group here, friends, family, and clients. Now, why is this important? What we're going to do is we're going to go out to people that know you, know of you, and already trust you. And what are we going to do? We're going to find a group of people. And this is where people get a bit lost. They'll say, oh, I don't really know anybody. And I go, well, you do. Because over there is my phone. And all of you, unless you're 1 year of age, have had more than 2 to 5 years on this planet, right? And the reason I say that is because you'll look at your kind of network of people and think, I don't really have any. I encourage every single person that we work with to sit down and create a list of at least 100 people that know of them, like them, trust them, or are associated with people that they know. So for example, you've got friends, but one removed from your friend is their friend, but their friend might know you. Your family, your brother's friends, your wife's friends, your sister's friends. What ends up happening is that there are pluses to every single person. And this leads to 1, 2, 3, 4, easily 100 people. And what we do is we create a database of 100 plus people. Now, some coaches I've worked with have gone out to over 1,000 people. The reason you do this is because not only do you want to validate your offer, you want to actually bring clients into your program because you want results, you want momentum, you want some money, and you want to actually feel like your business is growing. So the friends and family network is the first place we start. And what we do is we take all these people individually. We can go out through WhatsApp, we can go out through email, whatever it is that we choose as a platform to reach out to people individually, and we make an offer. I've created a coaching program. It's designed specifically to help this person achieve this result. I'm starting my online coaching business, and I'm looking for a select number of people to go through this particular journey with me, either, depending if you're at the beginning of the journey, for free, in exchange for a testimonial and a set of results, or if your confidence is high enough, which I would hope that it is, you actually would then say to the person, it's at a hugely discounted price, which is unbelievable to most people that they get a result from somebody that's associated with them, and they can get a result at a hugely reduced price. Is this something you'd be interested in? And we go out to all these people, could be 100 plus, and we actually sell this offer. You then get people coming back. We've had coaches with 10, 12, 15 people coming back out of a big list of people saying they want to work with you. You get them on a call, you go through the whole structure, and you end up with 3, 5, 7, in some cases, 10 people that want to go through your offer. So you've gone offer, step number 1, 2, friends and family, 3, clients, cash in the bank. Here's that step. You've got people that you can work with, you've got money in the bank, you've got confidence, you've got momentum, because you've got clarity with an offer. That is step 2. It's the simplest way to get 2K. Now, I'm not going to talk to you about what you charge, how you package everything up. We'll get that later on down the line. But step number 2 is building a friends and family list and actually going out, validating your offer and selling your offer to that close-knit audience. Now, step number 3 in the 0 to 3K bracket, and this is such an important one, missed out by so many people. Coaches will come to us and say, you know, I took on clients, I wasn't able to keep them. I took on clients, I couldn't find any more. Here's something. I've been a coach for 25 years. I built my reputation as one of the UK's top physique coaches. I not only got world-class results, but I kept a lot of my clients for 2 to 3 years plus. Here's the thing. Not many people would teach you this because it requires going away from lead generation and sales. But in this part of the video, I'm going to spend some time helping you on one of the most undervalued parts of building your online coaching business. And that is keeping people. Because if you can sign up 3, 5, 7, or 10 people from using the friends and family network, you can keep them. You're actually got a consistent level of income coming into your business every single month. And what keeps people? What keeps people is having a program that people never want to leave. So one thing that we focus on with every single person is retention. And what keeps somebody inside your program? Number one is results. Number two is education. We're going to go through these in a second. Number three is a vision. Okay, and I'm going to put 12 plus months. And the fourth one is community. So let me get into these. As a coach, the one thing that you have to do, hence why I talked about friends and family in that second video, you have to get a result. If a client comes into your program, I worked with a psychologist years ago, and he was helping one of my athletes when I was strength and conditioning. And he was a psychologist helping one of my athletes overcome some challenges. And within the first 4 weeks, I said to this psychologist, what's important in the first 4 weeks? He says he needs to see some change, because people lose the buy-in in a very short space of time. So your program has to get results. And I get a lot of coaches, they spend so much time doing all the real kind of getting to know the clients, taking them through the program setup. And 3 or 4 weeks into the program, there's no real progress. Now, you should be a good coach. I'm a good coach. Even if you set up a nutritional plan, very structured, and you give everything to do with nutrition, most people, if they're with you to lose weight, would be able to lose 3, 4, 5 kilos, or let's say pounds within the first 1 to 2 weeks, but kilos over the course of the first month to 2 months. There should be consistency. But let's look at that first 4 weeks. Within the first week, people that are coming to you to lose weight or body fat could lose, let's say, 1 to 2 pounds a week, right? Over 4 weeks, that person could lose like 8 pounds. Now, if it's weight loss, if it's body fat loss, whatever you've got to do, you need a 28 to 60 day target for that person to reach. Inside the program, if they can get results, they stay. But what else did they do in those first 28 to 60 days? They tell their friends, and they're in such a prime position to be in the program longer and for you to retain them. So your results have got to be key. The second thing, much like you watching this long video that I'm putting together, there needs to be education. A lot of your clients are disempowered. They don't have much education. It's the reason why they're out of shape, or they're not fit enough, or they've not got enough muscle, whatever it is, they're undereducated. They're not just coming for a check-in. And look, it's 10 a penny. People can go on ChatGPT, learn things. What is your program going to do that provides something that's different? Coaches nowadays are providing education. When somebody comes in your program, what is the learning path that I go on? If somebody's empowered, they're more educated. If they're educated, they're more empowered. More empowered, they're more inspired. More inspired, they want to keep working towards their goals. So, for example, if you can have micro milestones and you can add education at each of these points, you've got a client that is more informed and educated as we go through. So as a good coach, you need to find somewhere, especially these apps nowadays, you can add education in. If somebody's got something that they're struggling with and you can provide a bit of education, they're going to be more empowered, inspired, and more likely to stay. Third thing is there needs to be a journey that takes somebody from where they are now to 12 plus months. Here's the thing. You need to be a visionary as a coach. You need to be constantly talking to your clients about vision. You know, let's say, for example, they're doing their fat loss journey, and then we talk to them about getting a little bit stronger. Or we talk to them about potentially what's coming up in 2 to 3 months' time. They may be going skiing. Maybe they've got a friend's summer event that they're going to. What you've got to do along this journey is you've got to empower them by getting them to think further ahead, mapping things out, talking to them about what lies ahead. When you do that, you create a vision, but also that vision gets them to start thinking about what life's like in your program long term. And then finally, you need community. Now, this is massive, because if you think clients are going to join your program for a check-in, a little bit of advice each week on what they need to do different, and that's it, no. Community helps people mirror identity of other people inside your community and see themselves what they could be months, if not years down the line. So imagine Jane, she joined your program month 1. She's doing okay, but it's not really like progressing at a rate. She joins a community call. She comes to a live event and she meets Steve. And Steve says, I've been here 2 years. The first month or two, I kind of questioned myself in the journey. And then at month 4, 5, when I really started to take this seriously, I lost more weight. I learned more about myself. This community has helped me so much. And Jane goes, I was thinking of checking out. No, I'm in this for the long haul. You need to introduce your clients to the rest of the community. When you do that, you will retain your clients. And guess what? A lot of coaches who have got, 10 clients, they might lose 3 to 4 clients a month. Then within 2 months, you're down to 2 clients. Well, 2 clients from 10 is the difference between earning 2,000 consistently a month and 400. Think about that. So now you have to go aggressive. Oh, I've done friends and family. I got 7 or 8 clients inside the program, but now after 6 to 8 weeks, they've gone. They've gone because of this. And then guess what you have to do? Mark, now I need to do friends and family again, but I've already done it. But I don't have enough followers on Instagram. What do? Guess what you end up becoming? A chaser, an aggressive chaser, somebody that's literally trying to pull anybody from anywhere. Then you disconnect yourself from your offer, disconnect yourself from your coaching service and become a chaser. That ends up with a very, very, very unstable business. So I cannot stress this enough. As somebody that's been in the industry 25 years, once you've got your offer, once you've got people in your program, do not be sloppy. Do not just keep jumping for more clients. Get your program built. Get your systems built, your service delivery, the app, the retention. Really take some time to study and get better at your craft every single day and build a retention system that keeps your clients for 12 plus months, not 2 months. Okay, the next step, and this is such a big topic, I'm going to talk to you about building authority brand content system. Because here's the thing, you're not going to be able to go through your friends and family list 2, 3, 4 times and just keep making money. That gets you some momentum, some confidence, and some money in the bank. You've got a great coaching program, that's keeping people. That needs to be developed week after week. That's your responsibility, is to not ever take your eye off the coaching program. But now you need to build what we call your shop front. Now, there are 2 trails of thought in the fitness industry online at the moment. Go viral or build a brand. I build brands. I've helped coaches go from 3 to 4K across a 3-year period to 30 to 50 to 70K plus months, some doing 100,000 plus. And do you know what they all have in common? They've not shifted down the viral route. They've built an authority brand. They've become credible, they get high quality results, and they stay consistent. You'll see how we actually build the lead generation and acquire clients. But there's one thing. I've helped some of the top coaches, many of them you will know in this industry, build authority coaching brands. But there's something they all have in common. Let me bring this to you. They have authority content. And I have 8 pillars that I take coaches through. And not only does this attract the right clients, it's the type of content that you love making. Very rarely would I speak to a coach that's got a viral brand and they will tell me, oh, I'm attracting amazing clients. I love them. They're staying long term. I learned something from a good family friend, and we were in Zuma in Mykonos, myself and my wife, and we spoke to the manager of the new beach club of Zuma. And I said, this is amazing. It's absolutely stunning. Why do you not have more of these? He said, you can build a brand, you can make money really quick, but you can't build a brand fast. Of course, they were doing very, very well. But the point is, if you build a brand, you have a long-term thought process to what you want to be known for. So my question to you is, do you want to be known as a viral content creator that's just sitting there trying to come up with ideas, trying to be as entertaining as you possibly can to bring anybody into your page? I've very rarely seen a coach that's just chasing virality that doesn't actually have, that does have good clients, good quality clients in the program. Churn rate is high because people come in, they pay the program, of course, they don't stay. You want people to stay because of your values, your vision, what you're trying to help them to achieve long term. And that happens with an authority coaching brand. So let me tell you what you need. The first thing you need, and I'm going to sound like a broken record in this video, you need results. You need to be looking at every single person that's in your program. They're not just paying you for coaching. There needs to be a result. You have to be working towards a signature result. I am known for helping coaches build authority brands and achieve consistent 5 to 15K plus months. Rinse and repeat over and over again. But we don't just do it by chasing money. We do it by building an authority coaching brand. One that coaches love building, one that clients love being a part of. And to do that, you need to be working towards achieving consistent results. Every month, there should be at least 2 results on your page. Now, those results could be you, it could be clients, but you've got to do everything in your power to achieve results. The next thing, and I cannot say this strongly enough, if I look at your page and it looks like a personal trainer just documenting their journey, it doesn't look like a professional brand, the quality is poor, the headshots of your clients are misaligned and everything doesn't, you see the actual size of the head here, you look at everything that's not aligned down here. This is what the problem is for a lot of coaches. When they share results, when they share their own training, when they just put content out. Think of yourself, are you Tom Ford or are you more of a Premier Inn hotel? Go and look at Tom Ford's brand. Look at Premier Inn. You know, it's known for stag do's and holiday and partying, fun places. Think of the 2-star hotels that you know around the world. Then the 5-star hotels, the 5-star brands. They spend time positioning and presenting themselves at a very high level, but they attract high net worth people. You want people that are committed, going to stay long term and pay your price. So presentation is key. The third thing that we have is that we have content that shifts people's beliefs. I believe that the only way that you can get in shape is training 7 days a week. I believe that the only way that I'm going to get in shape is by having very, very low calorie diets. Contrary to popular belief, most coaches think they need to go viral online. It's not the case. I've helped some of the best coaches in the industry, and week by week, we help coaches hit consistent 5K, 15K plus months, building an authority coaching brand. So what am I doing here? There is a belief that somebody has, and I shift the belief. You have a belief, shift the belief. You need to do this in your content. It's a psychological shifting tool. The fourth thing is you have to have a hero story. I've been in the industry 25 years. When I first started in the industry, I didn't think I'd ever amount to anything. I had low self-confidence. That wasn't in the best shape of my life, but I knew fitness was where I wanted to be. And since then, I've done this. This is a hero story. You've got to go back, your origin, your journey. People need to see you and connect with you and your personal brand and your story and your methodology. In your content, you have to have your hero story. You know, we help a lot of our clients develop their hero story and then become very, very proud to share it. Positions you differently. Then we need to see a bit of your lifestyle. What do you do? Who are you? What does a day-to-day life look like? Whether or not within your lifestyle, it's your training, it's your family, it's your social life. Documenting what you do. Think of Kim Kardashian. Think of the journey that she has been on through her whole life. She's documenting everything. Become a personal brand. Allow people into your world. Document it. The next one is authority. You need to showcase people that you're connected with, events that you go to, seminars that you go to, masterminds that you go to, train with colleagues, reach out to people, do podcasts. Make it very, very clear that you are growing. Stop being a generalist online coach. Become more of a specialist. Get a signature result. Document what you're doing to work towards the signature result. That's how you present yourself as an authority. And then we have community. I've talked about it on the previous section. You need a community. You need to document the community, whether it's clients coming to a live event, whether it's Zoom calls online. People need to see what it's like to be a part of your world. You have to document it. And then finally, there needs to be content around polarity. You know, I come across so many coaches that hate doing viral content, don't attract the right clients, but that's all they're doing. Like, that's not the type of brand that most coaches that I work with want to build. The coaches that I work with are coaches that are great at what they do, care about their clients, care about their community. So I'm now creating a polarity against viral models. Look, I don't think viral models are bad if you want to build one that way, but I don't build them that way. And I've been doing this for well over a decade online, and we've had clients week after week after week succeed in the method and model that we deliver. So you need some degree of polarity. Coaches do this, I do this. Russell Brunson said, websites, They don't work because people go to a landing page and they don't want to be distracted. They want to buy the thing. So Russell Brunson, who created ClickFunnels, he was the one that actually would polarize against what other people do and what he does. It's done around the world. But if there's no polarity, you're the same as everybody else. Authority content is the way that you start to connect with your audience, build your personal brand, document the clients that you're working with. And here's the thing, it doesn't matter whether you've got 200, 500 or 5,000 followers plus. The reality is when I land on your page, are you followable? Are you followable? Do I want to follow you? Do I feel connected with you? Do I want to follow along your journey? Do I see a part of me in you? You know, a lady messaged me this morning. She said, you know what? I've done different mentorships, but I'm so glad I found your page because I vibe with your energy. I vibe with everything you're saying. I am very intentional with my content. I'm very direct. You know me. There's no bullshit. I'm direct. But I certainly don't want to be somebody I'm not. You know, I want you to land on my page, watch this video and say, this guy's too much. Okay, cool. Move on. I love this guy. He's direct. He's been in the industry a long time. He's somebody that I can trust. You need to do this in your content. This is how you build a personal brand, a coaching brand, an authority coaching brand. Get this right. What's now going to happen is that whatever comes into your account, whoever's there, they're going to like you or not like you. But the ones that like you, they start to feel more connected with who you are, what you do, and this aligns very well with your offer. Okay, the next step is really important. Now, I am going to just stop at this point and say to you that depending on where you are, within this first 0 to 3K bracket, it may be that certain things are placed in a different order, and it would very much depend where your business is right now. But if you are trying to get to that 0 to 3K, once we've gone through the foundations of getting your offer right, once we've gone through the friends and family, once we've gone through optimizing your content, which is your shop front, you're either going to have enough followers that are engaging with your content and are ready to actually buy from your content, actually buy your offer, or you're not. If you're not and your followers are not really engaged, you don't have that many, there's something you must do at this point. Now, between 0 and 3K, you've more than likely not got a lot of disposable income. So here's something. You have to grow your following. You can't escape this. If you've got a pool of people that have been following you and they're disengaged, they don't really get what you're all about, you've now got crystal clear with your content, your offer, you're going to have less people that are actually keen on your stuff. You therefore have to start growing your content, your audience, should I say. You have to get in front of people. What do I mean by this? We've got to go to accounts. We've got to find people. We've got to go to hashtags. We've got to search Instagram. We've got to look at different Instagram accounts. Where could your followers be? These people are going to form your next batch of audience. Go to your friends and family list. Go to your friends and family on Instagram. Actually start following your mum's friends, your dad's friends, your brother's friends, your sister's friends, their friends. Try and follow people that are connected to you initially, and then you can look at hashtags, other Instagram accounts, and just follow people. Look at people that could be aligned with your content. Follow people. If you sit there with 400, 500, or 1,000 followers that are not engaging with your content, they don't get your offer, they're disengaged, you're going to be so frustrated when you start to try and have conversations with people, which is one of the next stages where you're going to try and drive engagement. Look, you've got to understand something at this point. If I owned a gym right now and I needed to fill my gym, I would have to go out and promote myself. Either I'm walking down the street and I talk to somebody and say, hey, do you know I've just opened up a gym down here? Hey, do you know I've opened a gym down here? Hey, Mr. Butcher, is there any way that I can leave some flyers to let you know that the gym's here? Now, they make me a member of another gym. Then this happens in the world, guys. You're not poaching other people's clients. You're basically making people aware that you exist. They follow you. Now, poaching is very different. You can go into someone's account, not that I'm suggesting this, and you go, I know that you work with so-and-so, but I think you should work with me. That's not what I'm suggesting. I've never done it in 25 years and I'm not going to start now. But what you can do is follow somebody. Help raise awareness to the fact that you are there. If you follow them and they follow you back, what does that mean? You've got a new eyeball on your page. So one of the first things you need to do is to start by following and engaging with at least 50 accounts, just liking, engaging, and commenting on content. And you need to follow at least 50 people a day. Now, you might get 6, 7, 8 people that follow you back. And then what you've now got to start doing is looking for these accounts, doing this organically, setting out some time every single day to go and follow people. They will follow you back. If you don't like doing this, then you're going to sit there with no followers. You've got to grow your list. If you haven't got the funds to be able to do this through a paid medium, which we're going to talk about a little bit later down the line, followers are key. They're called eyeballs. If you open a business and no one knows about you, you're never going to be able to sell anything to anybody. Coffee shop, pub, restaurant, electrician's business, whatever it is, everybody in the world needs attention. Attention is key. So you're going to be able to go out to 50, then if you're not getting much engagement from that, you increase that number. And there'll be people that say, oh, you shouldn't be reaching out to people, you shouldn't be doing this. How in any business anywhere are we ever going to grow a business if no one knows we exist? So like it or not, you have to start going out and engaging, following people, getting to people follow you back, actually starting getting more eyeballs on your page. Your content then gets visibility. Visibility starts to give people the opportunity to either stay following you, engage, or disengage. It's one of the most fundamental things you can do when it comes to building your business to 0 to 3K is actually to grow your audience list. One challenge I would give you right now is whatever your following is, grow it by 500. Watch this video, go out and say, I'm going to try this. I'm going to go out, I'm going to look at accounts, and I'm going to follow people. And I'm going to engage with their content, genuinely, authentically. And if you do that, you stand a way better chance of being able to get more eyes on your page and more people engaging in your content. And then further down the line, I'll teach you how to actually take those followers and start turning them into clients. Okay, the next part. And you might be thinking, oh, sales. No, I talked about retention. That threw a curveball to you because I want you to design an amazing coaching program. But here's another one I'm going to throw in as a curveball. Whether you're a high rocks athlete, whether or not you are a runner, whether you're a stagnant fitness guy or girl, whether you're a bodybuilder, I don't care what it is. Whether you're just a recreational lifter that is an online coach as well, that doesn't have, huge aspirations to compete, I'm going to set you a challenge. Now, as I said, between 0 to 3K, these could go in different orders and it may not need to be in if you're actually somebody that's already doing this. But I built my brand and my reputation off something. My physique. I walk the walk, I talk the talk, and I document everything that I do, still to this day. And I'm going to challenge you to do the same. One of the ways, now you've got your content aligned and your offer aligned on your page, one of the best ways for people to actually buy into you is to buy into what you do, who you are, how you live, and what you look like. So I'm going to challenge you. Whether or not you're a runner, whether or not you're a physique athlete, whether or not you are just into general fitness, whether or not you are trying to build your body, I challenge you in the next 8 to 12 weeks to document every part of your journey to get into the best shape of your life. Best shape of your life. Commit to High Rocks event, commit to a photo shoot, commit to a strength event, whatever it is that you do, you need to be followable. You need to be an authority. And because if people are following you and they see you walking the walk and talking the talk and doing the do, this is going to make you credible. When everybody else is just saying they're a coach, I want you to show it in your stories, on your main page. I want to actually see you doing the thing. If I see you doing the thing, your followers are going to be like, I'm following a coach, I'm following somebody that walks the walk, I'm following somebody that's sharing all this type of content that's aligning with me. You're now building yourself into authority, credibility source of information. Do you see now you're starting to become followable? They want to know whether you're going to hit your goal. They want to know what you're doing. Think about the accounts that you look at every single day. I look at people's accounts. I'm interested in certain people. I look at, are they going to follow through with the thing that they say they're going to do? Oh, I've got an event coming up. Let's see. How did the event look? So from my perspective to you, think about things that you watch out there. Is there a sports team that you watch that are 6 weeks out from a cup final? Is there a person that's 6 weeks out from a boxing fight? I watch boxing. I watch boxers training in the build up to it. Think about this. Can you be that followable person to your audience? 0 to 3K, it's so powerful because what I'm sharing with you now will compound. When we get to 3 to 5 to 7K, it all compounds over time. It's huge. So my challenge to you, get in bloody good shape, document every single part of it, commit to it, because what I'm going to share with you in one of the later videos is how you can use that to your advantage. Okay, next, layering this together. I suggest that you take notes from what I'm going through. In fact, at any point during this video, if you're, okay, what was the order Mark put together? At any point, you can just click the link in the description. I've actually put down the full steps from 0 to 10K that you can follow. You're watching this video, I'm sure you're being very inspired, but you could just click the link in the description when you finish the video or any part of the way through it, and there is a breakdown of the steps that I put there, just so you can have that and you can look at that as like a blueprint as we go through the whole video. Now, the next step is you validated your offer to your friends and family. Now, here's the thing. The next step is very simple. You've built your content. Now, it's not going to be perfect. Your content is not going to be perfect. It doesn't need to be. My content's not perfect. I've been doing it since Instagram and Facebook first started. I'm trying to get better all the time. But your content should be a shot front that shows your training, documenting all of the content that you see behind me, and people can actually go on that page and go, I like him, her, I know them, I trust them. Now we need to go out to these people with an offer. There are people that are watching your stories. There are people that are engaging with your content. I want to go out to these people. And I just want to say to them, you know, hi, I've recently started my online coaching business designed to help this particular person achieve this particular thing. I'm taking a limited number of people on to actually achieve better results and actually grow my testimonial portfolio. Now, at this point, you should be able to do it for paid. I'm doing this at a dramatically reduced price to grow awareness of my coaching services. If this is something you're interested in, drop me a message back and I'll share more details. Now, you could go straight out to a lot of different people and tell them, hey, this is what I've got, this is who I am, this is what I'm trying to achieve, and it's at a price that I know is going to be very affordable, huge discount. Is it something you're interested in? This is an amazing opportunity to go out with an offer directly to the people that are engaging with your content. You will get a lot of people that will come back and say yes. You get a lot of people ignoring you, but it's your first opportunity to validate your offer to your target audience online. It's one of the simplest things you can do. I find that a lot of people, they try and validate their offer to their existing followers that are probably zoned out from their content. Spend a couple of weeks, grow your following, get that extra 500 people in your page, let them consume a bit of your content, let them see what you're doing with your own training and your own journey, and then just go out to them with a very, very simple offer. It's one of the simplest things you can do. You've already built your confidence doing it with friends and family. You then create the similar type of pool of people that have been following and engaging your content for a little while. Go out with an offer, same offer that you did when you validated it, and actually get a bunch load of new people into your coaching program by directly going out and engaging with the people that follow your content. Okay, the next step, and as I'm going to keep reminding you, depending on where you are with your business, depending how these sit with you, maybe this is not an appropriate step for you, but we're still in this 0 to 3K bracket. Client acquisition, marketing, lead generation, sales, brand building, everything that we've been going through, you still need to optimize your content. You still need to optimize your coaching service delivery and results and be documenting your journey all the way through this. But there is something that not a lot of people know this, but I'm going to share this with you. Right when Facebook first started, I created something called 8-Week Physique, and it was a group transformation program. I had a 22-page PDF with a calorie calculator, everything was in it, and I charged just shy of £200 for 8 weeks. So just less of £100 a month. And for 8 weeks, 8-Week Physique, you get a full template. There was a WhatsApp group, you can ask any questions in. And what I did was I launched to an audience, specifically my 8-Week Physique. I had over 100 people every single time at 200, right? £200. And I ran this throughout the year. What my suggestion to you at this point would be, you've grown your following by an extra 500 to 1,000 people. You've validated your offer. You've got people you're working with. You're keeping them inside your program, but you want an influx of clients. Now, at this point, if you try to just keep messaging people and selling your slightly higher priced coaching, we'll talk about price points a little bit further down the line, you might not have enough buyers. 0 to 3K, maybe your offer isn't as powerful as somebody that's got a huge amount of results on their page. But what you can do to get an influx of clients is you can design a group coaching offer. Whatever you want to call it. I've helped some of the top coaches in the industry create 8-week group coaching programs. Now, a lot of coaches that I know are well established. They don't want to do a group coaching program, and they want to perfect selling their coaching program for 150, 200, 250 a month. If that's you, focus on selling that. If you would like an influx of clients, and this can be done systematically multiple times of the year, but you can do it anytime, you launch a group coaching offer. And you're basically going to have a program. You're going to allow people to have a check-in maybe once every couple of weeks. You're going to run that through a Facebook community, school group, whatever it may be, or a coaching app. There's lots of different apps that allow you to actually run a group coaching offer. And the good thing about a group coaching program is that you can be very, very transparent about the price. 175, 199, 189, 165, whatever you want to call it, price it. Be very transparent. I'm launching a group coaching program. Mine was called 8-Week Physique. You could call it whatever you like. I've helped many, many coaches do this over the years. What this does is it enables you to bring an influx of people in that are price sensitive. They're also sensitive to maybe not coming into your full price coaching program one-to-one, but they go through group. When they go through group, what ends up happening at the end of the program, about 2 to 3 weeks before, is you start seeding in clients that are in your higher price program, and then start giving people an opportunity to either jump on a call with you or be very, very transparent that there is one-to-one coaching. There is a difference between group, there's a difference between one-to-one, the level of results, the level of care, the level of support, and you give people the opportunity to upsell into your coaching. Now, I had over 100 people join mine every single month. And when I was back coaching 40 plus clients and doing £12,000 per month on my own before Instagram first started, Facebook, myself, online clients, 40 clients were paying 300 a month back then, so 12,000 a month. And then every 3 or 4 months, I would run the 8-Week Physique. That would bring me in from 100 odd clients. I'd probably have about 12 to 13 new clients jumping in after that. So maybe like 10%, 12% of clients actually coming into my main coaching program. It was a filter. I kept retaining my clients. My business grew quarter on quarter. Now, as I said, this may not align with what you want to build, but I'll tell you what, between 0 and 3K, I mean, this is going to be punching you up if you divide what you've made in that first intake. If you divide that over 3 to 4 months, you'll be 3, 4, 5K consistent months revenue-wise in a very short space of time. What is going to be the limitation to anything like this working? The limitation is your hard work. The limitation is going to be you having 40 hours in a gym, PT, having a family, not committing yourself fully to the time. There's going to be so many factors that's limiting your growth. Not putting your content out, not actually being structured with the content branding system. You know, you've got to understand, take accountability for everything I've talked about here. What are you actually missing? And when you realize what's actually missing, then you can start filling the gaps. I'm not going to say that everybody watching this video is going to absolutely nail this first off. It could take you a year. It could take you 18 months. I'm not here saying this is 0 to 10K in 3 months. I'm not saying that at all. Everybody has different journeys, speeds, whatever it takes. But the group coaching offer, the ability to bring in a bunch load of people, you might do it first time round and get 5 people. I've got coaches inside our program at the moment with 50, 60, 70 people each intake. But what works well for them is they're bringing in an influx of people based on a lower price and then upselling them into their coaching program afterwards. So this is your opportunity to take your offer, put it into a group coaching offer, lower price, bam, load of clients, upsell them into your high price coaching program. Okay. The next step in this process, and this can be brought earlier, as I've said, this is direct messaging. Now, if you're at this point in the video, respect to you, because you really want to know what it takes. And I'm just going to give you everything because I want you to understand this. Direct messaging has a bad reputation. It has a bad reputation because it's spammy. People think it's spammy, but so is cheesy men or women in bars chatting people up. So is cheesy people, you know, jumping into your DMs and saying creepy, weird things. In life, there are creepy things everywhere. But I have to start off by saying something. Inside Instagram is a feature called direct messaging. You guys use it, whether it's with friends or people message you about coaching. But here is the thing. Nothing happens in business until a conversation is had. Nothing happens in life until a conversation is had. If you fancy the girl or guy over there and you stare and nothing gonna happen. If you go up and say, hey, they go, hey, And you're like, I just noticed you over there. Are you on your own or are you with anybody? Well, open up the conversation. Well, that happens in a social setting. Maybe you don't have a partner because you've never done that, but that's actually what happens. Maybe you don't have clients because you've never done that, but that's what happens inside the DMs. Now, it can be done with authenticity and integrity, or it can be done really crappy and sleazy. So let me talk to you. I've given you so many ways to bring clients in, but right now you should have got 500 to 1,000 new followers actually bringing your audience in organically. If all of those people have come into your account and you have done nothing to say hello to them, imagine walking into a restaurant and no one says hello to you. Imagine going into a gym because you want to have a look around because you're kind of curious and no one in the gym says hello. What do? What a shit gym. And you walk out. Well, I need you to change your psychology for a second. When somebody comes into your account because they've followed you or you've done a follow return, that person is actually choosing to follow your account. So be polite. Say, I appreciate the follow. And then as an introduction, you could ask a question, an open question that would give a response for them to actually reply to you. Or you do it the cheesy way, which is what gets accounts a bad name. You comment on someone's photo, really love your holiday picture, looks like you're having a great time. That's sleazy. But welcoming somebody to your account, acknowledging somebody that's viewing your stories, acknowledging somebody that's liking your posts, replying to a comment, looking out for engagement signs. The reason you get better at content creation, the reason you create, this is still on the board, authority content, is because people connect, engage, and like your content. When they do, you have a reason to acknowledge it. If somebody liked your post, it's the same as somebody walking past me and say, love your top mark. Or they walk through a gym and go, you look in great shape. If you're a PT and you ignore that, you're ignoring an opportunity, an engagement signal. So let me explain something to you. I've been teaching people DMs since Instagram really rolled out their DM structure. I've been using DMs. In fact, today I booked 3 calls on our calendar because at 5:45 this morning, I did some work, got to about 6:30, checked my DMs, 3 messages that I hadn't replied to in the DMs, replied to all 3, and within 10 minutes, they'd all booked a call with my team. Now that could then turn into a great client, extra revenue into the business, and building the brand's reputation and results. And I help that person to change their life. So please don't look at the DMs and think, oh, I don't really want to do that. It's wrong. You're missing out a massive opportunity to engage and speak to your followers. Now, let's talk about this. Okay, direct messaging. Now, direct messaging has a few different stages to it. Step number 1 is called an opener. An opener is much like in the dating world. How do you go up and approach somebody for the first time? What do you say? Whether it's, and I'm just going to talk to you about the buckets here. I call them buckets. Buckets are where you can talk to people, where you can engage conversation. In your stories, in your comments, in your likes, you can comment on people's stuff very genuinely. When people follow you, stories, likes, engages, you're not going to get saves. Or you can actually prompt people in your stories or posts to comment for keywords or engagements, or leave actual comments, giving you an opportunity to be able to engage with that person. So an opener, for example, would be, hi, I appreciate the follow. And then you would create like an opening question, which gives them an opportunity to reply to you. Now, once you've got the opener, okay, I actually do say that a bit of rapport is nice. I don't mean, where do you live? What do you do? Where have you been on holiday? Love this. It just gets boring. I'm not a big fan of going into the conversations, having a quick conversation, quickly booking a call and trying to get a sign up. Why? I need to understand whether the person I'm speaking to is a potential lead or book call now or future. So you need to understand, is this person displaying signs that they're interested, or is it someone that we call it a nurture lead? Now, sometimes people will come into my account and I'll say, curious to know how you came across my page, for example, and they'll be like, love your stuff, I'm looking for a coach. Bam, we're straight into a conversation about coaching. But the rapport would literally might be me saying, appreciate you following the account. How did you come across me? I've been a PT for 5 years. Oh, great. Where are you at the gym? I want to find out a little bit about them. Then we have a discovery phase within the DMs. Okay. The discovery phase is I want to know where somebody is right now, where they're trying to get to, what they've tried to do to get to where they want to get to, and what they feel they're struggling with now. So within the discovery is where is somebody now? Where do they want to get to? Okay. What have they tried to get to here? And what has not worked? When I do the discovery, I'm not going to keep going on a rapport, how long you've been training for, what is it that you like about going to the gym, what exercises do you like, what do you think hasn't worked with your nutrition, and then start to diagnose what I think it is. I always keep things very, very superficial. But the opener, the rapport, the discovery. Now, within the discovery, I then want to know from somebody if it's a now thing. Are they actually looking to fix the problem that they've got now? Is this something you're looking to address right now or further down the line? Notice I'm not going into this, what I call waffly bollocks, where you're just talking and disappearing and talking about, I keep things very centralized. You followed me because I'm a fitness business coach. They followed you because you're a fitness coach. So the reality is, hey, why are you here? 2, what are you trying to achieve? 3, what have you done before? 4, what has not worked? Is this something you're trying to fix right now? Absolutely. Then, because it's something that they want to fix right now, and you've understood, rapport also lends itself to what they do for work, because you get a better understanding of their financial situation. Now, once we've actually found out if it's a now thing, this is the point where we're able to what we do call a proposal. Now, I'm going to tell you this. You're either going to be able to do this in a straight line conversation, where you end up in a conversation and you're ending up going to be proposing a call. Or you might do this for a couple of conversations. You might do this and they might come back to you in a couple of days. Maybe this doesn't really lead anywhere, and then you can do a follow-up and just see how they're getting on. And then maybe this proposal doesn't happen for 3 or 4 or 5 days. It just depends. Not every conversation is going to be equal. It's really important you understand this. But each conversation can go through different stages. There are multiple different layers. But the point being is that every DM conversation has a structure. And when you go through a structure, your discovery, you're finding out who they are, you're finding out if there's a problem, you're finding out if it's something you can help, and then you get down to a point of a proposal. And a proposal is basically, given everything that we've said, rather than go backwards and forwards, why don't we arrange a quick call? Let me have a look at what you're doing and I'll make some suggestions how I can help you. If that person, and you've got to remember this, they're following your account because you're a fitness coach. Doesn't mean you need to chat to them about their family, their wife, their health, their happiness. It means that they're there for a specific reason. And therefore, it means that your responsibility is to guide the conversation. If you guide the conversation, make a proposal, give somebody your phone, your calendar link, they book a call, you have yourself a book call from somebody that showed their intent and interest to be a part of your world or have some help. When you do this, very, very structured in a very, very clean way, you'll have yourself a book call and then potentially a new client, all because you've engaged with people, you've had conversations with them. And if you do not make the first move, people are never going to know that you could potentially help them. Okay, the next part is pricing. Now, what I don't want you to do as I've gone through this video is to think, well, once I've done my offer, once I've done my friends and family, once I've done my group coaching offer, this is the only time that I should be thinking about pricing. I didn't really want to put this at the beginning and get you overcomplicating the higher priced coaching, the one-to-one level, when we're talking more about launching the offer, going out to your friends and family and doing the group. So you can put this pricing in at any point, but just stop. I wanted to give this its individual attention rather than putting in one of the other sections. Pricing for a lot of people is quite a sensitive subject. Well, the industry says this, the industry says that. Well, I've been in the industry 25 years. I've taught thousands of coaches pricing. And the one thing that's so important here is what aligns with you. How do you want to grow your business? How do you want to grow your income? It's entirely up to you. But I'm going to take you through a few trails of thought. And then what you can then do is to say, right, this is what I want to charge. This is how I'm going to collect the money. And it's up to you. You can either start at a lower price point, depending on your experience, knowledge, and skill, or you start at a slightly higher price point. But there's a few things I want to clear up first and foremost. This is higher priced coaching. This is one-to-one coaching. This is not the group offer or discounted. This is for you, the client working with you one-on-one inside your coaching offer. Now, there are two trails of thought. In America, people will pay for slightly higher price coaching, $350, $450, $550 a month. It's an American thing. People expect to pay more for coaching. But in the UK, generally when you're starting out, I would sit you around about $150 a month. Now, is that to say that if you're a good coach with knowledge, experience, and results, and you're really starting your online business, you can't start at $200, $250? When I started coaching online, I was $300 to $350 a month because of my knowledge, my expertise, my credibility, my results. What does this all come down to? It comes down to your levels of confidence around selling, your level of confidence around your offer, your belief in yourself and your ability to achieve a result. That really comes down to it. Now, are there people charging ridiculous amounts of money for coaching and they are not good at what they do? Yes. Are there people charging ridiculous amount of money for landscaping and roofing that are not good at what they do? Yes. I cannot be held responsible for what happens there. What I can be responsible for is helping you start at a point that aligns perfectly with you. Now, I'm not going to go through every single pricing strategy and try and break down what you should do, but I am going to talk about a couple of things. I'm going to talk about monthly. We call this MRR, and we are going to call PIF paid in full. Now, I'm going to mention these because in the fitness industry, we've got some coaches, business coaches, that will say, you should only do monthly recurring revenue. What is monthly recurring revenue? Monthly recurring revenue is every single client that you have pays on a direct debit their coaching by month every single month. So if you've got 10 clients paying 200, you get £2,000 per month consistently until a client leaves, and obviously it goes down by 200 a month for every person that leaves. What does that do? That brings you stability. That means that you know that amount of money is coming every single month. On the flip side, you have paid in full. Now, normally your paid in fulls are either going to be for 3 months upfront or they're going to be 6 months upfront. Here's my thought process here. Monthly recurring revenue is fantastic. It brings in consistent level of money. For everybody that I'm talking to, having that consistent amount of money coming into your business and your life covers your business and life expenses. I feel that every business should cover business and personal expenses. If it covers that, then the rest obviously is your own. And so if you can have that monthly recurring revenue level in the business, amazing. However, taking a 3 and 6 month upfront payment up from a client. Number one, it gets bigger buy-in from the client. Number two, it puts more cash in your business, which gives coaches a lot more confidence. And the third thing, and I don't think this is actually taught enough. If I can get somebody to pay for 6 months worth of coaching, they are buying into my system, my methodology, and the belief that I can get them to the outcome. Very often when somebody pays monthly coaching, they're seeing you as like a month-to-month thing. That's not an absolute. Some people, they join your coaching program, they can see a year down the line, they just will pay monthly. We have people pay monthly. We have people pay 6 months up front. We have people 12 months pay up front. But what I'm a big fan of is helping coaches to be able to sell their coaching offer. And when you sell your coaching offer for 6 months or 3 months, you've basically done an incredible job on the call of explaining how your system works. Now, I am going to say this as well. If you take 6 months worth of payments, it is so important that I share this from an accounting perspective. When somebody pays you 6 months, January, February, March, April, May, June, that amount of money to June, okay, it's not yours, it's the company's. So if you suddenly go and spend it, then you don't have any money left, then that's your responsibility. And this is where a lot of coaches get wrong. Now, You can take 6 months upfront payments. You can use that money to reinvest into the company, but also being very, very mindful that it brings money in, but it doesn't mean that that money should always go out. That creates a lot of volatility, because a lot of coaches, the mistake they make is they take 12 grand's worth of payments, six £2,000 payments up front for coaching, and then they go and spend it on a business class flight, a villa in Bali, or whatever it may be, and they've got no money left. And then they go through a month where they've not taken any clients on, they haven't got any MRR. I'm not going to sit here and take you through a full accounting lesson, but I cannot be held responsible. I cannot be held responsible for somebody that takes X amount of money up front and then blows it all. I can't be held responsible for a coach that takes 2,000 monthly recurring revenue at the beginning of every single month, and then the 2,000 gets blown on a flight somewhere, and then they have to wait another 4 weeks. Doesn't matter whether you're MRR or whether you're taking money 3 or 6 months up front. If you're rubbish with money management, then you are always going to be in a real sticky position. What I do like in a business is a cash-rich business. Nothing feels better to a coach that's actually doing a sales call and somebody's prepared to pay you 1,500, 2,000 or whatever it may be, because they believe in your product, your service, and your offer. And I think that is an amazing feeling for a coach, to know that they've actually delivered the whole program. I think it's an amazing learning curve for coaches to sell their offer up front. But what I would say is, cover your outgoings with monthly recurring revenue, collect more cash up front, which puts more business money in the business, means you can invest a little bit more in the business, but always be very, very smart. Whatever's coming into the business, budget, plan, forecast. Don't be stupid with your money. When you do have money, it's not to buy a watch, it's not to buy a car, it's not to throw around. It's a part of your future. I personally love having cash. If there's cash in the business, it gives confidence. If you go through a poor month, then it can allow for that buffer and give you the confidence. A lot of coaches end up being very reactive and stupid with their money, reactive in business and chasing for sales, rather than going, okay, it's a slow period, we're gonna have to ride through it. Then they end up devaluing the brand, doing some stupid, crazy, cheap offer that devalues everything that they've tried to build, and then the business is back at square one. So just giving you a perspective, monthly recurring revenue, paid in full, 3 to 6 months, the choice is yours. But this gives you an opportunity. I would start off at 150, and you could either charge that as a 3 or 6 month upfront offer. What I would generally recommend, by the way, is whatever your monthly price is, let's say it's 150, I would increase that. If you're going to do 3 and 6 months offers, I would increase that for monthly to 200. So just to give you an idea, if I'm going to charge 6 months worth of coaching upfront, I would make my monthly £50 more. So if I want to make £150 a month, I would multiply that by 6, which is 900. My monthly would be 200. I would charge £50 more. So I would tell people it's slightly more to do monthly and it's less to do upfront. Always give people the opportunity to pay less for upfront than you actually do your monthly. So it's more enticing for people to pay the money. Give them a benefit of paying the money up front. Pricing is a big subject. Pricing is a sensitive subject, but pricing is a subject that you control and you shouldn't be told what to do. Just do me one favor, cover your expenses, and then what you do with the rest is entirely up to you. Okay, the next part, before we actually start jumping above the 3K up to 5K, the next step is to start thinking about referrals and what we call lock-ins, success lock-ins. This is a great way to get more people inside the program and get people who are in the program to stay longer. I'm going to give you 2 things to think about here. Anytime somebody has achieved huge success in the program, you must ask for a referral. Normally within the first month, if they're crushing it. Do you know anybody who would benefit from exactly what you're going through right now? And normally what I would offer is a 1 month free inside your coaching program in exchange for a referral that joins and stays in the program. It's such an easy way. Your internal audience, your internal business, what we call the back end of your business, the clients that are already there, you have to make offers to them. Hey, John, you're doing amazing. I love the results you're achieving. If you were able to refer somebody to me, let me give you a month for free in the program. I'd love to be able to get more people like you in my world. Would you either be able to give them a recommendation, pass me their number, actually recommend me to them and tell them to expect a contact from me, and I'll give you a month free inside the program. It works incredibly well inside our program. We get multiple referrals every single month by making that offer. You can do an offer as an email, as an automated email when somebody's been with you 8 weeks, 4 weeks. It's better if you just go to them in person and say, hey, John, you have just crushed it in the last month. How have you found the program? It's the best thing I've ever done. Amazing. At that point, ask for a referral. Now, often they come in when people are doing very, very well, or even after a transformation. I cannot stress this enough. You want to make more money? Make money from inside the business. And the next one, which is a cracker, is when somebody has joined your program and after one month or 2 months, they have achieved absolutely insane results. Let's say they paid $2,000 for 6 months to come inside your coaching program. And after 2 months, they are telling you, oh my God, I felt the best I've ever done. I look the best I've ever done. I'm healthier. My relationship's better. Everything's better. And then literally these people are like, oh my God, oh my God. Do you mind if we have 5 minutes? I've got something I want to put to you. When somebody does as well as you do, I can't wait to work with you over the next year. You've joined the program for the first, let's say 3 months, let's say 6 months, whatever they've joined. But what I'd like to be able to offer you is you pay £2,000 for the first 6 months inside the program. I'd like to offer you another 6 months inside the program. We're going to give you a month free, so it's 7 months, but instead of £2,000, £1,500. You give me an extra month and £500 off the renewal? Absolutely. But if you renew now for the following 6 months. If not, when you get to the end of the 6 months, it'll just be another 2,000. So they divide 1,500 by 7 versus 2,000 by 6. It's a huge saving. What this means is you've got a client locked in, they get an extra month free inside the program, more than likely they've given you a referral, but each month if you have one of those clients doing it, it's like an extra sign up. If you have 2 referrals every month and 1 lock-in, 1 person staying with you long term, that is 3 new clients in a month. Well, that's pretty cool. You've got 2 referrals and 1 lock-in, and then you get 2 new clients or even 1 new client for each month. Now, if they each pay you totaling 3,000 or 4,000, then that business every single month is generating another 3,000 a month. You can kind of see when you're focusing on this as a proper business, then you're not trying to take advantage of your clients. You're giving your clients an offer. You're making them an offer. Hey, here's what I'm going to do for you if everybody likes to save money. Everybody wants a benefit. So we're kind of at the end of this section, how to get to 3K. To be honest, if you followed all this and you've crushed it, you should be even at 5K by now. I know there's a lot of things that go into building an online business. I've been mentoring and coaching for 25 years. I'm just going to reiterate this to you. I built 2 gyms. I built multiple different brands. I've taught the fitness industry the science and theory. I've gone through everything you can imagine. I've worked with every type of client. And do you know one of the biggest challenges that coaches face and clients face? I always say 90% of your business success is this. If you're going through all this and think, well, how hard can it be? Mark's going through all this start to finish. How hard could this be? Well, this gets in the way. You allow time to get in the way. You allow relationships to get in the way. You allow doubt, fear, frustration to get in the way. You allow procrastination, the whole idea of sending DMs and actually doing the sales and doing the marketing. You step back, actually getting really, really good with your content. You know, I might be an hour and a half into this video right now. How many people are going to spend an hour and a half creating a video? I've got expertise. I've got knowledge I'm sharing with you. I've gone through the same mindset blocks as you. I've worked with personal development coaches. I spent hundreds of thousands on my education, tens of thousands on personal development. I've become an architect of me. Please don't underestimate this. Up to this initial 3K, even 5K, and up to 10K. Be an architect of yourself. Build yourself. Build your character. Go and speak to people about personal development. If you do have a mentor right now, don't just look at it and say DMs, sales, lead gen. No, your own development. Your identity. Let me tell you right now, to get to 3K requires 1 level. To get to 5 to 7K, you now need to ask yourself a question when we get into the next section. Who do I need to become to get to where I want to be next? What do I need to remove? Who do I need to spend time with? What do I need to invest in? Each financial level requires a different version of you. If you push now to 5 to 7K, but you are still operating in a kind of 2.5K mindset, but just pushing hard, you will fall back to that level. Ed Mylett said in his book, The Power of One More, think of yourself as a thermometer. You can turn the room up to 90 degrees, but if its baseline is always 40, it'll always come back. You can turn the heating up. Any of you can follow all this for a short period of time, but you know the people who last the longest is when this becomes a consistent. So take your time, work through each bit. I'm giving you this in an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it may be. This is your life we're building. I'm here to help you build your life. So when I have calls with coaches, sometimes it's mindset, sometimes it's sales, sometimes it's lead generation, sometimes it's hiring and training and development. Sometimes it's, let's take a pause. Sometimes it's emotion, sometimes I'm stressed. But you've experienced these in your own life when it comes to fitness, health. Business building is no different. I'm not here telling you it's all sunshine and rainbows. It's not. Up to this point, you should be very proud of what you've achieved. I'm really proud of you getting to this point, but now I'm ready to take you to the next level. Okay, the next part, taking your business from 3 to 5K months. Now, to be honest with you, if you've done the first part, 0 to 3K well, and you've stayed consistent, persistent, and focused with that, it's quite likely you're going to be at 5 or 6K. Now, I'm not saying when. It could be 6 months, 12 months, whatever. You could be at 3 to 5K right now and go back over everything I've said from 0 to 3 and get yourself to 10. I'm being 100% honest with you. Optimization, I'm going to talk about a little bit as we get further into this video. But really, the better you apply yourself and not skim over the surface with this stuff, the better your business is going to get, the more revenue you're going to make, the more leads you're going to get, and the better business you're going to have. But the next step, 3 to 5K months. This is where I would be saying to you to start scaling your direct messages. Let's talk through this. Now, there's a lot being said in the industry. You shouldn't do 100 DMs a day. It shouldn't take 100 messages a day. It shouldn't take this. It shouldn't take that. Well, I have my own opinion on this because we need conversations. Now, I'm a big believer when it comes to direct messages, and I'm going to tell you, when we talk about the pipeline, this is really important. We're going to talk about scaling DMs. What does this mean? It basically means sending more starter messages, going out, engaging with people, and having more people to talk to. To scale your DMs, you're going to need a bigger following. You're going to need more people coming into the page. You're going to need to sift through the hundreds of followers you've got, follow up with people, re-engage with people, start new conversations. You're going to need to do more. However, I'm going to say this to you. If you've started out between 25 and 50 DMs a day, let's say you're starting 25 to 50 DMs a day. If you're getting no replies with 25 to 50 DMs a day, what do you need to improve? You need to improve your content. I promise you, you should be getting 30% replies from the conversations you start. If you are not getting 30% replies from the conversation you start, and it's 10, 9%, what we have now is a content problem. This is what they go, tell people to do 100 DMs a day. I get that because volume, speak to more people, I get that. But if nobody understands who you are, what you do, why you're different, and what your program is, then no matter how many DMs you send, if your content is you going to the gym, I spoke to somebody the other day, it was just pictures of them going to the gym, it looked like they were a PT, and just copied posts, looked like they were from Google search, just quotes. And if you try and send 100 DMs a day or 50 DMs a day or even 25 DMs a day off that account, no one's going to know who you are. Now, for me, for example, when we send DMs and people receive a message from me, they usually reply with, hey, Mark, I really appreciate the message. Why? Because they follow my content. They like my content. They know who I am. They know who I help, how I help people, why I'm different, and what we do, coaching concierge. So my big point to you is, do I think 100 DMs a day shouldn't be done? No, I think 100 DMs is an amazing thing to do, but I don't think 100 DMs to do when your content is not aligned and it's not attracting the right people and it's not achieving at least 30%. 100 messages sent, you should have at least 30. 50 messages sent, you should have at least 50 replies. If you're not getting this amount of replies, you have to go and check out your content. You're going to go, well, the DMs don't work. The DMs don't work. I'm sending messages. No one's replying. They're not replying because they have no idea who you are. There's no credibility. You have to take this accountability yourself. You want to scale your business? There needs to be a business to scale. It's simple. If there's no brand, then who do we speak to? You walk in a bar and you've got a sheet over your head and you go, I'm looking for a girlfriend. Like, people are going to be like, what the hell? Or you go in and you go to a bar and you've got the scruffiest clothes, you've not had a shave, you look a right mess and you're like that. No woman in their right mind is going to look over and go, that's a potential catch. You sort yourself out and you shave and you present yourself however you dress, presentably wise, and there's 7 or 8 women in a bar, vice versa for women, you're going to be more attractive to that person because they look and there's more things that they could find attractive in you, male or female. So if there's something in you that more people could potentially want, you stand a better chance of getting an engagement. So my point to you is, if we go back to your content and we actually have a look and go, presentation, results, belief shifting, storytelling, my own training, my own results, life journey, polarity, all of these things that are so important within your content, the educational side, people get to see that and go, it makes so much sense. So you might think to me, Mark's going to talk about how I scale the DMs. How you scale the DMs is by making your content 10x better. So when people do receive a message from you, then you can scale. So my view would go 25, scale that up to 50, scale that up to 75, scale that up to 100. And as a company, we've been up to, say, 200 messages a day. They're not just spamming people. We're just starting an initial conversation. If people don't respond or people go, I don't appreciate being contacted, that's fine. But how many guys and girls go up to people in the bar and go, hey, and they just go, I'm not interested. That's fine. But do you know what? If you don't say hey to somebody or hi or comment on a post or engage with somebody, you're never going to get a chance. Now, here's the thing. If I now go, and I'm going to look at this as statistics because, look, I'm the same as you. And let's not beat about the bush, right? This crap in the industry it's not about selling. Everything in life is about selling. Right now, I'm selling. I'd love you to be a part of our coaching program. And if you don't like this video, I'm not vibing with you, right? But I'd love you to be a part of our coaching world. I'd love us to be able to take you on this journey to 10K. It's a beautiful journey. But the reality is, if I don't talk to you, I don't get a conversation, I don't get engagement. So let's use the figure of 100, right? Now, from 100, ideally, I want to get to a point where 30% of people reply. And therefore, from that, let's say we have 30 conversations, right? Now, going down here, I would expect from 30 conversations, about 10 to 12% to reply to that, right? So let's say I end up having 30 conversations, starter conversations with people, and then I make 4 what we call proposals. So from 100 conversations started, 30, 4, and then I would more than likely get 1 person or 1 call, right? Let's say here, I'm going to put this down as 50% from this proposal to call, right? So we get 100 conversations, 30 conversations from 100 messages sent. We get 4 people that we propose to, and we actually get 2 calls. 2 calls, you close 1, it's a sale. Now this, depending on the industry, honestly, this can vary. I'm giving you an example here of what can happen. I've had cases where people send 100 messages, get 50 responses, end up proposing 10 calls, end up with 6 sales calls and signing up 4 to 5 people. Unbelievably. It's a very, very, very valuable, highly engaged account. Then I've got people that are going through this, which is kind of average. I've also got people sending 100 messages, getting 10 responses, proposing 1 call and getting no sales. This can happen at varying degrees, but it really depends on the strength of the brand. But what I'm saying to you here is, if this is saying that from 100 messages, I get 30 replies, I propose 4, 2 calls, 1 sale, right? What does it tell me if I would like to get more sales? It basically means I need to scale this. Or I need to optimize, which we're going to talk about in another video, this. How do I get more people to respond to this message, giving me a greater chance of being able to book more calls? This is a pipeline. We're going to talk about this a little bit later. But when it comes to scaling your DMs, when you go from 3 to 5K, we're going to look at this ability to be able to go from 25 to 50 to 75, not just throwing ourselves into it just because we want to send more DMs. We've got to be very, very conscious of the statistics and the data. But at this point, going from 3 to 5K, this is where you start scaling the DMs from 25 to 50 to 50 to 75. Hold around there, optimize these numbers, because sending more messages means you speak to more people. Speak to more people gives you more opportunities to book calls. Book calls means you've got an opportunity to sign up a client. So right now, we're looking at scaling the DMs to get more book calls to increase more clients into your program. Okay, the next step we're going to talk about from going from 3 to 5K is paid advertising. Now, you may have seen all different things about paid advertising, and I've got a few things to share with you. Paid advertising, we're just going to leave it at something called a follower campaign. Now, Facebook ads, there's two ways of doing this. The point about this is we're going to use Facebook ads to grow your following. That's all we're going to do. We're going to create ads that promote your content so that more people see it, which means you don't have to manually follow people, buying you back a lot of time. But we're going to use Meta Facebook ads, if you know of it as Facebook ads, but Meta, to either boost your content that's on your Instagram grid, or we're going to add it to the Meta platform, the business suite, and we're going to use paid advertising to promote your content. Now, I love this methodology because rather than having to go viral, yes, we're going to spend a bit of your hard-earned money, but we're going to actually grow your following. So while you're asleep, same thing with me, we're growing our page by hundreds and hundreds of people every single week by putting a percentage of our revenue into follower growth campaigns. And all that we do with follower growth campaigns is we take content that is working and we either boost it by clicking the boost button on Instagram and putting a budget, which normally starts at £10, $12 a day, and then we scale that depending on how well it's doing. Or we take the same ad, download it, put it into Meta, and for the sake of this video, I'm not going to talk to you about how you create and set up the ads. It's not my field of expertise. I actually have my team help do it and teach our clients how to do it inside both of our coaching programs. So you don't have to be hugely techie in our program. We teach you how to do it. And in our scale program, we facilitate you actually getting these done. But what we're able to do is put a certain amount of budget behind growing your followers. When we do that, we look for around about £1 or nearly $2 per follower. So you could, to get 100 followers, you would spend £100, right? So if you're looking at this across a week, let's say you do 70 a week, you'd expect to get 70 followers. If you do 700, same thing. So you start to see how things would work. If you start to spend 20, 30, 50 a day, $1 to $2, you could get 50, even a little bit more. We've had some coaches at 70p per follower and they're growing. But the good thing is with the ads, you take the content that is aligned to who you want to work with, what it is that people want, and you put that as your content in the ad structure. What that does is it promotes it to thousands, if not millions of people. And then you wake up in the morning to hundreds of followers over a course of 3, 5, 7 days. Then you get the opportunity to then welcome those new people to the page. They're your ideal audience. And actually being able to scale from 5 to 7K months enables you to, well, 3 to 5K months, should I say, enable you to start having more people to speak to, more calls, more conversations, more new clients coming into your program. So Meta and Facebook ads, the ability to boost or put them through the Meta platform to be able to grow your following would be the next step, because that increases your pool of people to sell to. And the next step is to actually revert back to what worked well up to 3K. And it was the first round of your group coaching offer. Now, getting from 3 to 5K, this is where I'd say to you, run this again, right? Think about running this 4 times a year. Because if you took in 50 clients, that's if you're going to do this for £200 for 8 weeks, that's going to be 10K. Now you think about this, 50 clients, 200, 10K, and you divide that over 3 or 4 months. That's a nice injection of revenue, bringing you up. You can take an amount of money in one lump sum, but divide it over the few months. That will take you from the 3 to the 5K. Well, what have we got to do? You need to grow your following in between the last group offer that you did. You then need to launch the group offer again, but look at what didn't work last time versus now. Look at the time of the year. Was it at the right time? Was it just in the new year? Perfect. Was it just before summer? Perfect. Was it in between summer and Christmas? Or just after summer, people get back in shape? Perfect. Amazing opportunities. But here's the thing. Like I said, if you take 10K, it's 2K across 3 or 4 months, right? 2.5K. If you then add that to your 3K that you're making already, you're already at 5K because you divided it over the 3 months. So please think about this. For some coaches watching this right now, you might have never run a group offer. It's an amazing way to just inject, 5K or even 10K into your business, but you haven't done it. You haven't tried it. And remember, it brings in clients that will more than likely upsell to your program the better they do inside your program. So these jumps from 3K to 5K, you need to be very strategic and think outside the box. You've already done something, now put it on repeat. That'll help you grow your income to the next level. Okay, the next section, we're going to talk about a word that not many people use, but you actually do it day to day. You don't think of the word, but you do it every day. When you work with a client, when you're going to the gym yourself, what are you trying to do out of the minimum effective dose? I.e., should you need to change things massively to be able to see more progress? No. So if you're going to do dumbbells and somebody's doing dumbbell presses and you want to improve the connection in the chest to grow the chest, you would optimize the technique, the contraction. You would slow it down. You would increase tempos. You're basically looking at the same thing that somebody's doing, but you want to make it better. Great. So how are we going to do that? Well, let's look at the word first. Optimization. Doing better with what we've already got. So the first thing is content. Now, within content, I'm going to say a few things. Can we start more conversations with content? Yes. If we start more conversations, we're more likely going to book more calls. Yes. Could we give away things? Could we create a lead magnet in response to somebody DMing us? Could we do something in our stories where people engage in our stories? Could we actually inject a style of content? We were only talking about this to our team. A lot of coaches don't use their hero story, their journey. They don't document enough. What is this going to do within your content? It's going to build more connection. So the first thing I want to say to you in optimization is, what are you missing from your content that would build better connection, better engagement? And then what could you do in your content to drive more actual conversations and engagement? Simply by doing that, it gives you more of an opportunity to have conversations. The more opportunity you've got to have conversations and the better people know you because of your content, the better opportunity you've got to bring a client into your program. But here's the problem. Most coaches are very one-dimensional with their content. They haven't really optimized their content. They haven't improved it. They haven't done research. The other thing you should do with your content is go to your insights. Look at what's working. I know what's working on carousels with straight posts that I do. I know what's working with reels. I know what's working in stories. And I optimize it. I make it better. I go and research other people's accounts and I try and increase my views a little bit, try and increase the actual amount of DMs with the lead magnets that I give away. This tinkering with content, you will think, it's not really necessary. Massively, massively important to actually get more eyeballs, more attention, and more engagement. So the first thing with optimization is content. Everything I've talked about, you have to optimize your content. The second thing is your DMs. Now, the problem with your DMs is you will be doing them and you'll think, they're not working. And so you just leave them and you think, there's got to be something else in the business. No, I talked to you about different stages of the DMs. So if this is where you get a booked call and this is where you start the conversation, okay, with an opener, there are multiple stages through that. In fact, what I teach inside Coaching Concierge, there's like 10 to 12 different stages questions and structure that you actually need to nail to make your DMs better. So if I go from start to finish and we look at the DMs, you look at optimization, could you just spend a week looking at how you're delivering your conversations, what's right, what's wrong? One of my coaching clients that's doing 45,000 a month was on a call with me yesterday, and I said, send me over 5 of your conversations with your clients, with your that your team are doing inside your DMs. I looked and I was like, that should have converted, this should have converted, and that's why. So the person I was speaking to had the maturity to understand that the conversation with me about optimizations is enough. If he had got 3 more calls booked and closed 1 person, it's $3,000. Well, optimization was going to make him more money. 3, sales optimizations. It's the same thing. When you start a call through to the discovery of a sales call, what we call the 7 beliefs on a sales call, what we call the delivery of the result and how you're going to achieve that for somebody, right the way through to the offer, actually the price point, through to objection handling. There are so many points of sales that are actually causing you a problem why you're not selling. Could you improve your sales? Could you study sales? You know, inside our program, we have a sales clinic every Friday. Coaches come on and they'll say, this is what I'm struggling with when it comes to a sale. And then they go away and they say, what I learned today really helped me to get that sale over the line. It was somebody who I didn't think, and then I dealt with the objection like this and I made £1,500. Simply getting better at optimizing sales makes £1,500, brings a client into your program. So please do not get to this 3.5K and think, well, it's got to be another tactic. It's got to be something else. Simply optimizing all this is a perfect way to drive another 1, 2, 3 extra K into your business every single month. These are just optimizations, but they are the perfect way to be able to see that next jump in revenue. Okay, the last section, we looked at getting you to that 5K point, and you'll have seen simple optimizations and a couple of tweaks is all it really takes. But let's talk about getting from 5 to 7K. There is something simple that you can really do at this point. And this is where you scale the paid ads. You look at what you originally start spending. Let's say you were spending 10, 15 pounds a day. Really, right now, I want you to think of something. Scaling paid ads means you're going to pay more, but you want to get more back, right? So we're going to talk about paid ads. Now, there's something I want you to understand. Something called ROAS. ROAS is the return that you get from spending money on ads, okay? So if I put £10 in per day, okay, and I get £100 back out, okay, this is a 10 times return on my spend on ads. And this is something I want you guys to understand. If I spend 100 and get £1,000 back, then I've got a 10x return on my ad spend. Now, on average, 3x return on your ad spend is pretty decent. You're not losing money. And I think a lot of coaches at this level, like 5, 7, or even 10K plus, they get all panicky about spending money. But if you went into a casino and put £100 down and got 1,000 back, you'd be pretty damn chuffed because you're up. You've made money. But the fear that a lot of coaches have is, well, I tell you what, let me copy all the viral strategies. Let me dilute my brand. Let me screw around being an absolute clown, being viral, not really building a great reputation, not building an authority brand, or take the brilliant content that I've got, put £10 a day between it. Let's say you spend £100 across a week on paid ads to grow your followers. From this, you end up with 100 followers. From 100 followers, you end up booking 2 calls and signing up somebody for £1,500, okay? And you end up signing somebody for £1,500 because you spent £100, you got 100 followers, all in the space of a week. Through the conversations you had, you ended up signing somebody for £1,500. And that's like 11x, right? 11, 12x. When you now think of it like this, does it not make sense to put a little bit of money in to get quite a lot back by optimizing what we went through on the previous slide. So what I would be doing is saying, well, I put £10 in a day and I'm getting, let's say you're getting back like one sale, 750. So the next week or month, next week, I'm going to put my ads up to £20. Now, when I get to £20 a day, that's like 140 a week. 140 a week, you could end up getting really good ads and you'd end up with 200 new followers. 200 new followers could get you 5 new calls, 2 new signups, 2 new signups, and they're £1,500 each. You end up with, let's say this is 140, and then you end up with 3,000, right? You've got to have a bit of a risk appetite. You've got to put some money in. And by the way, I will tell you this, as you start scaling ads, you're going to have weeks where they don't actually convert because your content's wrong or something's wrong. But I'm not saying this is a predictable way to just double, treble, 10x your revenue. What I am telling you is that when you nail your content, you nail your ads, and you're a little bit punchy with spending a little bit of money, you get in front of the right people, the type of people that want your coaching, the type of people that will look at your content, will engage with you, and will eventually buy from you. On the flip side, I've spoken to people that have got 40 million views on a video because it went viral and they made no sales. I know people with 1.1 million that are making 10,000 a month. 1.1 million followers that are making 10,000 a month. Now that's great money, but for that many followers, it just means that people are just there just for the likes, the giggles, the dopamine. But when you're a good coach and you're bringing good people into your page, authority branding, you're building an amazing relationship up with people, you're building an amazing connection with people, those people are prepared to spend more. Then you can charge more. Now, of course, if you want to charge monthly, be my guest, because what you would do with the monthly, and remember this, we're looking at cash collected, and this is just an important thing. Let me just explain this to you. What we can look at, because you'll think, a lot of coaches will think, well, I'm not making any money. If you look at your return on ad spend, let's say you spend 140, okay, in a week, and then you sign up 2 clients, and those clients are £200 a month, equals you take 400, right? Now, the point I want you to make, because this is the customer lifetime value, if that client stays with you, the 140 you spend, 200 times 6 equals 1,200, okay? And this ends up being 2,400. So the customer lifetime value, the amount of money that that person's going to spend with you is 140 that you spend and 1,200 or 2,400 you get back. So now you start to realize that that's like 15, 18, 20x on your revenue, on your return. So the point being here is if you're charging monthly, look at what it actually is as a customer lifetime value over 6 months, if that's how long you keep a client for, to give you an understanding of your return. Because if you put 140 in and only get 200 back, you'll think, well, it's kind of break even. It's not break even, because if you think about the customer lifetime journey over 6 months or even 12 months, it's actually making a lot more over that time, because the following week you might do the same thing again. So that at this level, 5 to 7K, that's how you actually start to scale, spend a bit more, get more conversations, book more calls. Okay, the next step at 5 to 7K is upward trend your price. Now at this stage, as you're going through these price levels, or this income bracket, should I say, this can take you 3, 6, 12, 18 months. Don't expect these to just jump. I'm not a magician. I'm not a casino that just you put your money in and money comes out. So many different factors play here. But as you're developing up through the income brackets, you really should be improving as a coach, as a professional. Your service, your results, your brand, everything should be evolving. I've spoken to so many coaches that have worked with different people, different mentors. 12 months down the line, I'm like, look at your content. Look at your presentation, look at your brand. No disrespect to the mentor, but I can see you've just been focusing on sales. Where is the brand? Where are the results? Where's the presentation? Where is your brand elevation? They're like, nah. Lean yourself closer to a 5-star hotel and you would charge 5-star money. It's such a simple thing for me to say, and I've been telling coaches this for years. I used to sit in 5-star restaurants, have a coffee during the day in London and watch the world and watch how they operate. One of the simplest things you can do at this point with your pricing is if your brand is aligned with 5-star, you start charging 5-star money. If you were charging 150, you should be working towards 250. 250 should be punching you towards £1,500 for 6 months worth of coaching. Puts you in a place to be able to collect more money. What I would be suggesting that you do on calls is people that you think is a strong case for charging more money, not just because of what they're earning or what their financial background is, but somebody that's really bought into your offer, a sales call that goes absolutely amazingly well. Charge what you now feel you deserve. Let me ask you a question right now. What do you feel you deserve? I'm $150 a month. What do you feel you deserve? $250 a month. Great. Sell it. Sell it with conviction. Now, here's the deal. If you sell it for $1,500 for 6 months worth of coaching up front and they can't afford that, you can drop down to give them a monthly price and 9 times out of 10, they're going to be able to afford you. But the point is you've got to go in there with conviction. You've got to optimize your sales. You've got to go in and look at some of these sales calls and go, these could be 6 months up front. These could be 3 months up front. I could charge more. At 5 to 7K, you should have built authority, credibility, and results. And therefore, my simple advice to you at 5 to 7K is to charge what you're worth. Okay, 5 to 7K, there is something that I would advise nearly every coach to do. In fact, it can come earlier, 4K-ish. It's hiring a direct message, a DM setter, somebody that actually sits in your account and manages the conversations in your account. Now, this is like having an admin assistant. This is like having a PA. This is about, PAs manage people's CEOs' inboxes, founders' inboxes. You have somebody that's managing your conversations. Not only is this going to buy you back a huge amount of time, but it's a very low value task. To be honest, there are certain times that I get involved in my conversations. I'll voice note people. I'll get involved if it's a slightly higher level coach or it's more challenging questions. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy having conversations with people. But here is the thing. I have a team that help me have conversations, DMs. I jump in quite frequently and get involved. But when you get to this level, one of the things that you are going to find is that your revenue level is going to be capped by the amount of work you can do. If you're scaling the ads and you're scaling the DMs, the limitation in your business getting from 5 to 7 to 10K is how consistent somebody is in your account. If you have a shop that is open and there is no person on the till between 11 and 3, and only between 3 and 5, when you maybe have a bit of time to do the DMs in between PT sessions or online coaching, whatever you do, you've got a small window in that account where you're working. If my setter's in there from 9 a.m. till 4 or 5 p.m., and they are solidly working, taking breaks, going in and out, being respectful, and by the way, you must be very careful inside the DMs. Not just sitting there every single day with the DM setter sending messages. You need to have breaks. You need to work according to Instagram guidelines. You need to not just spam people, copy and paste people. I have to make sure you understand that the more your account looks like spam or AI or copy and pasting, you'll get banned. That is key. So you need to train your setter. The reason often I don't allow a coach to have a setter early doors is because the setter needs to, the coach needs to understand the DM setting process. If you cannot teach your DM setter the whole conversation flow, right the way to booking a call and getting a client from start to actually booking a client and getting taking a payment. If you don't know how to do that, you can't train somebody else to do that. If you eventually are going to need a coach, you can't bring a coach on if you're not a good coach. So there's a few things: sales, setting, and coaching. Absolute must that you need to get good first. If you don't get good at it first and you're doing an hour inside the DMs every single day, but you want to scale, good luck. It needs to have somebody in your account all the time, consistently churning through, having conversations with people and actually booking calls so that you can then close them further down the line. So remember, you need to understand how to do this. But the next step to get from 5 to 7K is to hire a DM setter. There are skilled professionals. If this is the first time you've heard about this, there are skilled agencies. There are people all over the world. They're probably in your inbox right now saying you're looking for a setter. Be very careful. Interview 5 people. Make sure that they're very hungry to earn money, but make sure they're very hungry and they've got passion and they actually align well with you and you get on with them. But outside of teaching you how to actually bring somebody into your business, bringing a setter in is going to be an absolute game changer for the business. And it's going to actually have somebody in the account, booking calls, giving you all your time back. And this is a scalable, big part of the scalability of your business. Okay, you've made it this far. Congratulations. I'm going to delve into the step between 7 and 10K months. But I must tell you this. We've been coaching for well over a decade, online coaches. We've helped hundreds and hundreds of people achieve 5K, 10K and plus months. And there's a lot of coaches that have great content, optimize their DMs, hire a setter, and scale everything with paid ads. And they're at 10, 15, 18K plus. And they do that straight. They do an incredible job optimizing and making sure everything is perfect. So I'm not going to sit here and say these 7 to 10K markers are exactly what you have to do. Look, when I go through these right now, there are also people when it comes to physique development that I call them a bag of tricks, right? Let me just explain this to you because it's an important thing that you understand about fat loss, and it's an important thing. If I have a bag and inside the bag, there's all these tricks, okay? And let's say this is fat loss. If a client can get in the best shape of their life by only using 2 of this bag of tricks, are you going to use every bag of tricks? No, you're not. If you go through this video and you take parts of this video that I've gone through and you've nailed it, then you have got a huge amount of tools left in to take you to the next level. We've had coaches that get to 5K on 2 little tricks. We've had coaches that get to 10K on adding 1 more extra trick. And then the reason that they get to 20K is because they then optimize these and then just maybe add 1 more, all right? The problem I see in the fitness industry, and the problem why I see a lot of people in health absolutely screwed, is because they get overwhelmed doing too much. Because they come in a program and they want more, they want more, they want more. I'm like, optimize what you've got. But for the kind of hungry ones of you that kind of want to know what's next, maybe you've done all this, maybe you've got to 10K. What's next? What I'd be talking to you about is retargeting. Now, what is retargeting? It's paid advertising. So let's say we have an ad, okay? And we put that ad in Meta, and then the Meta ad brings us a follower, okay? So you put ad spend into an ad, you promote the ad, this gets promoted, and then you get new followers, okay? This is your follower campaign. Now with your follower campaign, this person lands on your page and sees your content grid, okay? It's up to you then and the quality of your content to get people to see your content consistently. However, what you can do is when people become a follower and they engage, and this is why you should engage with people. This is why you should, hey, welcome to my page, da, da, da. Because when they become an engager, we call this an engager, somebody that actually starts liking your content and commenting on your content, or you engage and comment on them, they become what we call an engager, okay? When they become an engager, what you could have set up is a retarget, okay, a retargeting ad. What this retargeting ad does, and it's very low cost, is with a retargeting ad, you're able to promote, okay, clients. Maybe you've seen some of mine. We have client case study testimonials, and they basically, every time somebody becomes a follower and engager, they see a client testimonial, and it doesn't have any calls to action. I'm basically showing all of my followers my best results. I think we've got 7 at the moment. So if you go to my page because you follow and you engage in my content, or you are an existing follower and you're engaging with my content, this retargeting ad that I put a very low amount of money behind shows our clients our results, shows our followers our results. Now we have another one, which is me talking like this about an area. Let's say, for example, a lot of coaches get stuck because they chase viral content. And in most cases, The viral content that you put out is not aligned with you. You probably know this because you're attracting the wrong clients. Well, our coaches do things differently. We created the Authority Brand Operating System, an 8-part content structure that enables you to attract the right clients, clients that stay long-term, clients that you love working with, and clients that get high-quality results. Say goodbye to viral. Say goodbye to chasing content that you don't even like. Follow the Authority Brand Content System. If you click the link below, you'll get full access to a 17-minute video where I talk you through the whole thing. Wow. Click. Now I can do 7 different videos talking about 7 different things. What that does, again, it's basically showing my followers this video and it's directing people to a lead magnet. Now, what happens in our business? We get nearly 500 email addresses every single week because my followers are seeing a lead magnet. The lead magnet does require a bit of production, but ultimately what happens is they go from being a new follower or an engager of my content, and then with very cheap ads, they're either seeing a case study all day. Whenever they come on Instagram, they'll see my case studies. It reminds them how good we are. Or they will download a lead magnet. When they download a lead magnet, we have got what we call the know, like, trust. Okay. Now, when somebody knows me, they kind of knows me. When they like me, maybe they've looked a little bit of content. When they trust me, then we're getting somewhere. If you're however long into this video right now, I'd like to think that you trust me. You kind of go, "Mark, I love everything that Mark's saying." You're closer. I can start being real now. I want to work with you. I want to help you. I want to grow your business. But if you're an hour and a half into this video, you're thinking, well, I'm here for a very good reason. I like it. I might as well speak to these guys or speak to Mark. So the point is, with this lead magnet, I can get somebody's email address, and then an email address, what can I do? I can email you the fact to watch this video. And if you watch this, of which we've got over 10, 20,000 people on our email list, I can send my email out and get people to watch my YouTube. What is this doing? Building relationships. Now, this is a layer of your business that, firstly, if people are following your content, they're retargeting. When you end up retargeting people, then you can end up speaking to them in the DMs. When you speak to them into the DMs and they've been seeing your case studies and your results, they're more likely to open the messages, which means more likely they're going to have a conversation, which means more likely they're going to book a call, which means more likely they become a client. This is a layer to your business beyond follower ads that would increase people's trust in you. You would, yes, have to design a lead magnet, but it's another layer, which we actually call like part of our authority growth engine, which we actually help coaches in our scale program integrate, but we also teach this in our build program so that our clients are adding layers to their business. So this is where things get a little bit complicated. Can you get to 10K without this? Yes. Are you kind of at a point now where I'd like coaches to start thinking about the future, collecting email addresses, building a better relationship, having a clear point of difference. And this is a way you can do it on the way up to 10K months. Okay, the next part in 7 to 10K. And I actually discussed this right at the beginning of the video. And if you remember right back, I talked about one of the most important things when you've taken on your first batch of clients, it's retention. It's keeping your clients. But we're going to talk about something very specific here between 7 to 10K. When we talk about retention, which you will be very familiar with, one thing we need to be familiar with, let me just clear that off. One thing we need to be familiar with is something called your churn rate. Now, between 7 and 10K, you could more than likely bring this in at any point building your business. But a lot of coaches get here and between 7 and 10K, I'll say, well, how many clients are you losing each month? Maybe you've got 40 clients, maybe you've got 45 clients, whatever it is. But if you're losing anywhere upwards of 4 to 5% of your clients every single month, if you're losing upwards, so when I mean kind of like 7, 9, 11%, right? Now, if you've got 25 clients, you could be losing 3 clients at 10% churn. 3 clients is £600 a month losing out of your business. What if your churn rate was down to like 3%? What if you out of 25 clients were not even losing 1 client a month at some points? What does that do to a business? Well, if you have 3 clients, you go down in revenue. If you keep a client, you have a stable business. So to me, this is how you work out your churn rate. Your churn rate is the number of clients that left the program divided by start of the month, the clients that started the month, multiplied by 100. So I'll give you an example. Let's say we had 4 clients who left the program divided by 25 clients that are in your program. So let's just take out the numbers here. We did 4 clients divided by 25, we multiply it by 100, is 16% churn. So every single month, you're losing 16% of your clients. Now let's look at 1 divided by 25 multiplied by 100, okay, is 4%. So if you lose 1 out of 25, it's 4%. Look at this. There's a difference. You've actually lost 3 extra clients here, which means you have to work extra hard to get to break even again to then move forward. With this one, if you sign up 3 clients and you lose 1, now you're on 27. This one, if you sign up 3 clients, from 25 you're down to 21, sign up 3 clients, you're at 24. You're not even back to what the number was here. With this, you're at 27. What does this mean? You've grown by 3. So as simple as it sounds, if you now get into the weeds, of your coaching program, the service delivery, okay, you get into the community, you get into teaching more, okay, you get into increasing your results, and you also work on the vision plan for your clients, because they will become more inspired if you can map out milestones. So if your client's getting a little bit stagnant and it's kind of February and you're like, what are we doing in June? Where are you going? Got a lad's trip to Ibiza. You want to go with this to Ibiza? Hell no. Cool. Let's get something in play. 8 weeks now. Let's go. And the client's like, you're right. I was a bit flaggy. Your job is to give the energy, bring the energy. So you must, if you want to go from 7 to 10K, and this accounts for anywhere. If you want to increase revenue to your business, stop losing people and make your program 10x better. Okay, 7 to 10K. Let's nip this together with one really, really big final one. And this accounts for every part of the business. It is called sales pipeline. Now, I've talked about this and I cannot stress this enough. Content. 2, engagement. 2, DMs. 2, sales calls. 2, retention. We've just discussed retention, but I cannot stress this enough. There are coaches that have gone 7, 8, 9, 10 by doing one thing. There are coaches that have gone from 10, 12, 15, 25 by doing one thing. They have optimized at every single point. They have become more mature in understanding that the better they get at everything I've talked about throughout this whole video, the better their business will become. I have people messaging me out of the blue. I love to work with you. Why? Because my content is so clear. People know that this video, as long as it is not just about how to get to 10K, as in like how to make money through sales. It's about building an amazing program. It's about upgrading yourself. I would even say within this whole pipeline, 7 to 10, what do you need to be doing? I always put this in everything that I talk to coaches about. Who do you need to become at this point? 7 to 10K isn't often about a new offer. It is never about adding a low ticket, cheaper program outside of your group program. I mean, like, low ticket, people want to bring in selling nutrition programs or selling training programs. Run your group coaching program, but don't suddenly bring like a lower ticket that you're constantly selling, diluting your audience. Coaches get so confused. They want all new different things. It's not a case of that. It's about optimization and it's about becoming mature. If you know right now that you're becoming slightly overwhelmed in your business, then going from 7 to 10K and doing more, you'll think, well, I can't do any more. Then you need to be more mature and say, do I need to optimize my time between 7 and 10K? Before I was even at that figure, I had an accountant, I had an admin that worked 50% of the, 3 days a week for me, paid her £200 a week, something like that. You might need an admin. You might have hired the DM setter. Here's the thing. You and time is something that is an optimization. Optimize you, your energy, your happiness, your fulfillment. Time. Are you doing 40 PT sessions when you could do 30 and then you can grow from here? Are you not structured in your day? Can we structure your time? Then we get to your content. What can be done to optimize your content? What can be done to bring in more engagement into the page? What can be done on the pipeline with the DMs to actually make them better? Train your setter better. You improve and work on the skills to be able to get more book calls. And then on the sales call, the delivery all the way through. One of the things we do incredibly well with our clients is they use us as a soundboard for decisions. You see, most of you right now, you may be getting a lot from this video at 15K, 20K. Most of the clients we work with, like nearly all the clients we work with, you're not entrepreneurial. You've certainly not been through the kind of mindset and the entrepreneurial development that's required at your level. You're a coach. So our coaches use us, one, to have like a CEO, non-financially invested CEO, sitting in their boardroom, asking questions, challenging thoughts and beliefs, being there as a soundboard when they go through challenging times, getting on group calls, listening to coaches, going, what are you doing? What do I need to be doing differently? This is one of the biggest entrepreneurial things, constantly questioning what needs to be better, what needs to be changed. It's not just a case of content, work with your clients, you'll get loads more. Entrepreneurship is about optimization. Entrepreneurship is about constantly evolving and developing. And that's not just the business, that's you as well. Now, as I said, at any point through this video, I've actually put all of the points down here in a document in the link in the description so that you can go through these systematically. At any point, you can just click the link in the description and you can download these. If you've got to the point of this video and you think, wow, that is everything that I need. This is how we approach building and scaling businesses. And there's a lot more intricacies that go into scaling. Maybe something I'll look at a little bit further down the line. But this is how we help coaches get to consistent 10K months. You can see it's not just about DMs and sales. It's about building an authority brand. It's about becoming a stable business owner. It's about evolving with your own identity. It's about having a clear vision of actually what you want for your life. I love building these because I love working with great coaches. Does this work as well? If you're not a good coach, if you're not passionate about the industry, I don't think it does. I've seen it for over a decade. Coaches trying to make it work when they're not passionate about what they're doing. We're in a service-based industry, helping and caring for people. There's a huge amount of information I've shared in this video. If you got to this point, I respect you hugely, but I will say one final thing. If you've watched through this and the idea of trying to do all this on your own, I guarantee you're going to spend the next 6 to 12 months and get a percentage of the way there. You can cut all of this time in half, in quarter. You can shave everything off this by joining us inside Coaching Concierge. There is a very simple application process. There is a quick 15-minute call. All you need to do is to go to the link in the description, click on that, go down the page, fill out an application form. We invite you to a quick 15-minute call if you are a good fit. I call this not a sales call. It's not a sales call. In fact, at that point, we have nothing to sell you. There's nothing that we can sell you. We don't know enough about you. It's my team's opportunity to see if this aligns. And if it does, you'll be invited to a slightly longer call. So you've got nothing to lose, but you've got a lot to gain by allowing us to understand you, where you are and where you want to get to with your business. If this long video has inspired you that you have the potential to do this and change your life, the trajectory of your family's life, like it's done for mine and thousands of other coaches around the world who never really thought this was possible, and we've turned a dream into reality. If that's you, we'd love to hear from you. So click the link in the description. Thank you for watching. I know it's been a long video, but one which I hope has changed your mind of what's truly possible. Take care. Speak soon.